This is Motorsport Radio. Join the conversation and have your say on motorsport-radio.com. Motorsport Radio. The Superbike Show on Motorsport Radio.
Hello and welcome to the Superbike Show here on Motorsport Radio. My name is Lester. Thank you very much for tuning in. Well, on this week's show, we've got loads of MotoGP news coming up. There was a load of stuff that happened just in the past few days, really. We've got a full debrief of everything that did happen and how it will affect various championships and even MotoGP going forward, because there is literally lots to unpack right here on Motorsport Radio. My name is Lester and Kiko Giles is here with us once again. Hello, good evening, Kiko.
Good evening. Brilliant to be back again. Lots to talk about, as you say, lots of news to come out, lots of things to discuss, news that will affect MotoGP as in the next 2 years, and also just a tiny bit of political news that we will get out to you. It's not question time preview, I know, but we'll get you all the latest bits. We've got some World Superbike gossip to talk about, and we have a very special guest coming on very, very soon. Very, very soon, yeah. The special guest is Colin Wright, who you may remember from BSB from years ago. And, well, he's back, this time as the Mavuno.com household racing team manager, and he joins us nicely on the line. Hi, Colin.
Hi, Lester. How are you?
Very well, thank you very much. How are you dealing in the hot temperatures of this sun? It's not good for people.
It's flipping cold at the minute.
It's but yeah, well,
obviously he's on a weekend break to Iceland.
I guess you must be, yeah. But yeah,
I'm going to the south of France next week, actually.
Oh yeah, with a few of your old friends. We've already discussed that a bit away from the on-air scenarios.
That's right.
So welcome to the show. You are live on Motorsport Radio, and Kiko has an absolute barrage of questions for you, Colin.
Thank you, Lester.
Right, Colin.
Thanks for having me, Kiko.
Oh, not a problem. My pleasure, as much as it is yours, hopefully. Right, we'll get stuck in then. To people who may have only just come into British Superbikes, maybe in the last 5 years, Colin Wright won't be a household name like it is for anoraks like myself. Just tell us a bit about your past in British Superbikes. It's been a glorious one at that.
Oh, it goes back to 1988, I believe, Kiko, when Kawasaki first reintroduced themselves into road racing. We started with a couple of guys called Ray Swan and Roger Hurst back in those days. We did the Isle of Man, and I think Ray Swan finished second in the British Super Sport Championship that year. It might have been 89, not sure, but a long time ago.
Indeed, it was back in the late 80s. But of course, you came to prominence really in the 90s. That was your main kind of. This was when Colin Wright GSE Racing became a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, in actual fact, our first championship was with John Reynolds in Supersport. We won that, and then the following year he won the, I don't know if it was called Superbike then, I think it was called F1, or it was in the transition between F1 and Superbike. But yeah, John Reynolds won for Kawasaki in 1992. And then I was offered an opportunity with Darryl Healy, and that was end of 98 for the 99 season, and with Troy Bayliss on a Ducati, which of course he won in 99. Then we took Neil Hodgson to win the championship in 2000. Then we went to World Superbike 2001 with James Toseland and Neil Hodgson. Do I need to go on?
You can carry on going as long as you like. Since 2002 was a good year for you as well.
I'm trying to remember.
Oh, that's why you asked then.
Yeah, it was a delay. My delay in tactics. 2002 was good. Neil obviously got a fair few results. I think James Toseland maybe won a race, or was that 2003?
It was 2003 when he broke up Neil Odson's run of 10. I think he was on or 9 or 10 or something like that.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, so all in all, it was pretty successful going to World Superbike. We had a year off in 2004. 2005, we came back with Greg Lavia, and he won the championship that year. Blimey, then what happened?
I think in 2006. Yeah, 2006. It was your next one was 08, but I think 2006 you had quite a. I remember it. I think it was Croft with Leon Haslam. It was one of the best. Yeah, Haslam, but I think he caught young Carl Harris on the last lap.
Yeah,
went to a different tyre strategy.
That's right. Yeah, it was drying track, and no, they had the same tyres, I think, but Leon just managed his tyres better than Carl.
Okay.
That was pretty good. Blimey, Camia. That was 2009, wasn't it? So I've jumped a year. Yeah, it was Shaky in 2008, as you said, and then Camia 2009. And then, we quit. End of 2009. GSC Racing was then redundant, but it was fantastic years, fantastic. But can I just say a couple of things, Kiko? First of all, I wanted to say a big thank you to Martin Halsall and Mavuno for giving me this opportunity. We'll talk about why and wherefore a bit later on, but also big love and best wishes to Shane and Petra. They must be going through an unbelievable situation at the minute, and I really feel for them both. So just wanted to say love and best wishes, and get well soon, Shaky.
Absolutely. I think you speak on behalf of absolutely everyone connected to British Superbikes in one way or another. Shaky he's been your rider and took you to the championship before now. So everyone from here as well, we wish Shane Byrne a very quick recovery. And with it being Shaky, undoubtedly it will be quick as well. So, but Colin, back to you. This new opportunity we're going to talk about, you've been out of it now for 9 seasons, or 8.5 really. What's made you come back? Has it been what's motivated you to come back after so long away?
It's a strange story, actually, Kiko. I don't want to bore the listeners with it, but I've always wanted to come back. I never actually wanted to go in the first place, and nor did Darryl. It was just circumstances that meant that we couldn't continue. But my good friend Neil Hodgson, I've been keeping in touch with him quite over the years. And I always wanted to come back, but I was only prepared to come back with somebody that was serious about the job and passionate like I am. There's various other positions I've been offered and contemplated, but this one excited me because Martin's got all the ingredients. That's basically what's important. And I've got the recipe. so between the ingredients and the recipe, we should come up with some good results.
How do you think it's going to go? Because as far as I'm aware, you've not worked with Tommy Bridewell before. I definitely imagine you've never worked with Tom Ward. Are you looking to make any changes within the team and your approach to things? Obviously, people will remember you, if I can use the phrase, with a bit of an iron fist approach to it, like a no-nonsense approach to management. Is the old Colin Wright coming back in that same capacity? It's
the only way I know, Kiko. It's the the bottom line is that Martin's given me this position to do the job, and why change something that was successful before? I don't see, from my own point of view, the gap, if you like, the sabbatical, if you want, for want of a better word, hasn't changed. Nothing's changed as far as management of a team's concerned. As I say, I described it to Martin as he's got the jigsaw puzzle and I've got the picture, and I can put it together, and I will do the way I have done before. So, in my mind, there's absolutely no reason why it won't work and be successful. No, there's no ideas in my mind to want to change things. I want to or change riders. Indeed, the team is perfectly able and willing to do the business. I've just got to make sure that every little detail is in the right place at the right time, which I pride myself on being able to do that.
Will it be, at the moment, Tommy Bridewell's not in the top 10 in the championship. I think he's 11th. He's had a couple of top 10s up to now. Can your influence, you're coming in at Knock Hill, so that's round 5 of the championship. That leaves 4 rounds until the showdown after that, 6, 7, 8, 9. Can you get Tommy Bridewell to the showdown?
It's a big ask, and probably, in short answer, is probably not. I back 2 rounds ago, I put a matrix together, or spreadsheet, showing Tommy what he needed to score points-wise between the start of the season and the showdown. And you're looking at around sort of 10, 11 points per race would sort of comfortably get you into the showdown, I think, if you were to finish all the races up to the showdown in 6th, 7th position. So it's doubtful. But ultimately, I think the important thing from mine and Martin's point of view, certainly Mavuno, is that we let people know we're there. 10th isn't good enough. That's Tommy's not happy with that, and nor am I. And Martin definitely isn't. But we're gonna make ourselves known. We're gonna sort of improve week on week, and no, probably won't make the showdown, but we will make our mark, let's say.
With the National Superstock 1000 Championship, it'll be a little bit of a different approach. Obviously, the showdown was the target coming into the year for Tommy. That's undoubted, I don't think. But with Tom Ward, a rookie in the National Superstock 1000 class, and before we had that 6-week break, he actually showed something that I don't think he'd shown in the first 2 rounds, showed a bit of a spark, looked like he was making big progress. What's your plan for him?
Well, actually, Tom and I have spent quite a long time on the telephone. Indeed, even the day that he was testing at Snetterton, we were on the phone probably 6 or 7 times during the day. I'm quite excited about Tom and his future, because I think he's got what it takes. I mean, I'm going to be a bit controversial now, but I would say that there's no physical reason why any rider can't be as good as Valentino Rossi. Okay. Physically.
That's a big statement.
Well, it is, but I'll explain. Okay. If you've got 2 arms, 2 legs and a brain, and you can ride a motorbike, then why can't you be as good as Rossi? Why can't a guy who's got a pair of running shoes be as good as Usain Bolt? It's the physical aspect of it is not difficult. It's the mental aspect that is the difficult bit, the psychology. But, with blowing my own trumpet, with a bit of experience of getting inside riders' minds and attitudes, I think Tom Ward is going to make make a big impression. Certainly, that's my aim with both Toms. But ultimately, the proof of the pudding will be in the eating, won't it? We'll see it this week or next weekend at Snetterton. I expect better things from both Toms and indeed Knock Hill, which I'll be attending. Not that it should scare them.
Oh dear, he started already. Going back to your first stint in British Superbikes, who would you say, we'll talk about first stint as in the first stint, and then when you came back in 2005 to 2009, who was the easiest rider to work with and who was the hardest rider to work with, and why?
All of them have been a pleasure. But of course I would say that, wouldn't I? A couple of them have been what I would call... Yeah, I'd call aggro, but I'm not mentioning any names. I think the guys that I'm talking about know who they are.
Right.
And probably anybody else that's listening knows who they are. But honestly, I've had an absolute fantastic relationship, working and social, with Neil Hodgson, Leon Haslam, James Toseland, Shane Byrne, Leon Camier. The thing is, Kiko, my relationship with those guys is obviously based on honesty and trust, and also being sort of what's the word? Hard but fair. Hard but fair is probably the words I'd use. We've often had face-to-face arguments and rows even with each one of them. But they're done behind closed doors, and at the end of whatever session we've had, there's been a handshake and a hug and, wishing each other all the best. And that's what it's all about in my mind. You can't hide behind wishing or wanting. You've got to make things happen. You can't wait for them to happen. One of my old adversaries, Rob McKelney, he was a great one. For every week in the press release, he'd say, well, we had a bit of bad luck this week. Well, bad luck will follow you if you don't try hard enough. That's controversial for you, isn't it?
You keep going, Colin. You keep going. Right, okay. Since we didn't get an answer out of which one was best and which one wasn't, I'll get an answer out of you on this one. Talk me through Donington Park Race 2 2000. And if anyone doesn't know about that race, explain to them what happened. It was probably the most unbelievable race in World Superbike history, and still is. It's something I will never ever forget. The details of which are very sketchy, but I'll tell you this, Kiko, we didn't have a garage. We didn't have the luxury of a garage. We actually had a tent actually, and we were parked in a different postcode to the paddock. We was probably nearer Mallory Park than we were to start finish at Donington. So we were, we were sort of like second-class citizens, I suppose. But Neil was on fire. He was just, that year he was just on the crest of a wave, which is one of my other favourite sayings. If you get on the crest of the wave, make sure you ride it for as long as you can. Neil was a wild card. He was probably, I don't know what the bookies would have offered, but probably 100 to 1. And he won. I mean, clearly, Frankie Kelly actually hit his private parts on the fuel tank after having a bit of a tank slapper, a moment, shall we say, which helped. Yes. But nevertheless, I mean, both Chris Walker and Neil were catching Kelly.
which is effectively why Killy had the tank slapper. I think he was panicking because he saw the lap times were, Neil and Chris were catching him. And on the last lap, Neil took the win. So, yeah, that was an unbelievable result. Having said that, the next wildcard round that we did at Brands was even more fantastic. The crowd was just, I wouldn't like to estimate, but I've been told it was anywhere between 80 and 100,000 people there. And the grandstand opposite the garages was full of orange because we were sponsored by INS at the time, which their team colour or their company corporate colour was orange. And it was just a sea of orange opposite us in the grandstand, and Neil won there too, and that was special, very, very special.
Was it those wildcards that kick-started your move into more or less a full World Superbike team? Because, of course, you went to World Superbikes in 01, stayed there till 03. Was that the moment it all started thinking, well, maybe we could do this on the world stage at every track?
There was discussions going on between Darryl Healy and Ducati, Tardozzi and Paolo Ciabatti back in '99 because it was something that Darryl was keen on doing. He likes the sunshine. So with World Superbike, obviously you follow that around. With BSB, you sort of go with the seasons, don't you? So no, it wasn't the wild cards that made it more likely to happen. It was just that was the icing on the cake. I think when Neil got those results, Ducati had already nicked Troy Bayliss off us in 2000, hadn't they? So we. I think that was the year, 2000 was the year that we had Neil Mackenzie, wasn't it?
In 2000 in BSB, you had Neil Mackenzie. In fact, well, you're very, very well linked in, because my next question was about Cadwell Park 2000. So off you go.
Well, I've got to be honest here, Kiko, and be honest to the listeners, that it was you that actually reminded me of what happened and helped me by sending me a video of Neil Mackenzie reliving that day.
Yeah. It's sad because I actually reminded him about it as well, as you know, if you listen to me. I feel really bad. I'm making up healed wounds.
Well, me and Neil Mac are getting on a bit compared to you, mate. So we do need rewinding now and again. But no, I think Neil was having a turbulent year. It definitely wasn't his best. We'd taken him from Yamaha, where he'd had 3 British Championship wins under his belt. He was struggling to get on with the Ducati, and effectively Neil Hodgson was leading it at Cadwell Park. He was leading the race, and he came up behind Neil Mackenzie. He was lapping, believe it or not. And we all thought, it's all right, Neil will see him, he'll get out of the way. And I don't think Neil Mac did see him. He certainly would have got out of the way if he had seen him. And he basically blocked Neil Hodgson, and we lost it. We lost the race. So, needless to say, Neil Mackenzie didn't get any bonus money that weekend, but nor did Hodgie either.
I know Neil offered his resignation that day. What made you turn it down? If you can remember.
Because he didn't see him. See him. For sure I would have accepted it. In fact, I'd have probably even sacked him if I'd have noticed or known that Mackenzie did see Hodgson. He wouldn't have needed to turn his resignation in, because I'd have sacked him.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Of course, it was. Neil left at the end of that year, and then obviously you left the BSB paddock, went to World Superbikes, and as they say, the rest is history. But looking back, or looking forward even, to coming back to Mivuno, looking forward to your plan here, is this a long-term view? Is this something that's going to go on past 2018? Is it going to be Colin Wright and Mivuno.com also racing Suzuki for the next couple of years now?
I'd love to. Yeah, I mean, as far as Martin and I are concerned, there's absolutely no reason why it shouldn't be. I mean, Martin and I have been together, or sort of sat and chatted and met each other several times now, and we've got a fantastic relationship already. And as far as Martin's concerned, you know, he's got unfinished business in the BSB paddock. He wants to win the championship, and I want to help him do that. So I would say, and I'll probably get a bollocking from Martin in a minute. I'll get a text and say, you could be told off. But no, I would say that we're going to be in it until Martin does win the championship, which he deserves. The guy's, you know, he's put a lot of time and money and effort into building a team, building his brand, and I want to pay him back basically for what he's invested.
Of course, one of the other motivations that I think you've come back for is that Paul Bird is threatening your 6 championships, isn't he? And you don't want to let Birdie get ahead of you. Am I right in thinking that?
You're absolutely right. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it was last sort of 3 or 4 years. It's been quite enjoyable sitting back thinking, well, yeah, you know, I've done this, done that, won 6 championships, blah, blah, blah. But then, yeah, as you say, Birdie's closing in on me now. Although, you see, of course, blowing my own trumpet, he's only ever done it on two manufacturers' machines and 2 riders, I believe. Only Shaky and, am I right in saying it's Shaky and Easton?
And Hislop in 2002.
And Hislop. Yeah, you're right. Well done, Kiko. And of course, you know, as I said to somebody the other day, Shaky being hurt like he is, I mean, Birdie must be panicking now, thinking, oh my God, I can't win another championship. You know, so with a bit of luck, I'll stay in front of him forever.
Right, that's that. I must say, before we go on to the quiz, because there is a quiz. You think I'm joking? There's a quiz. We've got a couple of comments flooding for you, and I can tell you've been a popular guest already. Steve Wilfmore, Motor Rapido Ducati, says, Colin is my hero, wish I could afford him.
Oh dear. Yeah.
So what would you like to say to that?
Say?
Go on, it's up to you.
Martin's beaten to it. He's had loads of chances. And in actual fact, I don't know where they think where my budget starts or my pay packet starts, but it's nowhere near what it used to be. Let's put it that way.
I think
back in the good old days, it was.
I think
there was a lot more money about in them days.
I think Ian Opcroft's also happy that you've been beaten to it by Martin Alsall, because he's the team manager at Motor Rapido, and he might be listening. So I think he's just saved himself a walk to the job centre. Andrew George has said, "Do you think James Ellison reached his potential? I guess he's on about 2009."
Say it again, Kiko. Sorry, I missed that.
Andrew George says, do you think James Ellison reached his potential? And I guess he's on about when he was with you in 2009, teammate to Leon Camio, of course.
Yes, definitely. I mean, we as Darryl Healy always says to me, GSE made me look good, which they did. But I can also say that we made James Ellison the best he could have been that year, without doubt. I mean, he finished second. He was beaten all the way by Leon Camio, but bloody hell, he had some good races. Am I allowed to swear? Sorry.
You was mild there. You was the Corma level of swearing, I think we'll call it.
The Corma.
Jim Higgs has been in touch. Jim Higgs has been in touch quickly. He says you've still got my orange flags. Don't know what that means. Maybe you do.
I haven't got anything orange in the house, Jim. I'm sorry. I might have left them in a hotel room somewhere.
Oh, dear. I bet you're sick of seeing a sight of orange. I bet after all them years. Although yellow was you wasn't with them at Ducati, INS Ducati then, but it was yellow originally, wasn't it? In '98.
That's right. It was. Yeah. If I could, I'll be totally honest with you now about all the clothing, because my missus obviously had to do all the washing and ironing of my team clothing, and she didn't do it for the whole team. But at the end of the season, because I'd been, from '88 through to 2008-9, it's a lot of years with a lot of team gear. So in actual fact, what I used to do was at the last round, I used to leave it in the drawers of the hotel room that I was staying in. So I didn't have to bring it home.
Andrew George, I'll make this we'll do two last questions before we get onto the quiz. Simon Hall says, who is the next champion?
Oh, BSB champion.
I'd assume so.
God, this is going to be a hard one. There's three I can think of, but in a way, and here's a little bit of controversy for you, in a way, I'd like to see Bradley Ray go to World Superbike before he wins British Championship.
Okay.
So it won't be him.
Okay.
It will be Leon Haslam this year.
Okay.
That's my prediction. I've been polishing my crystal ball before the show started.
Okay.
Then you've got Christian Iden. I rate him. I rate Tommy. Once Tommy Bridewell could do it. Once we get him up to speed. Jake Dixon is another one. The thing is, in all honesty, I haven't really got my eye on many people at the moment, because the two guys I've got are the guys that I'm going to work with. So
yes.
Why consider other people? I know that wasn't the question, but I've given plenty of answers.
Yeah, exactly. That'll do. Andrew George has been on again. Last question before we do the quiz now. What's Colin's one pet hate about riders? What is your pet hate about riders? What do you hate in riders?
Girlfriends.
Oh, God.
I've written that down because that's part of your subject tonight, isn't it?
It is. Is that honestly the one pet hate you have about girlfriends?
No, no, I was joking.
I was going to say, I don't think Stacey will be too quick.
I've got to say, outside influences is one of my pet hates, whether it be mums or dads or girlfriends, aunties, uncles, whatever. You know, they can have a big effect on a rider's attitude and psychology going into a race. I'm wary of them. I like them, don't get me wrong. I like girls, and I like, but there's a time and a place, isn't there?
There is. Pit garage, I guess, is not one of them. Right, okay. I've been saying we're going to do this quiz, and we are. Now, this is called the League of Knowledge. I keep saying we're going to put a table together. We always run out of time, but I promise you, I've said this on air, we're going to get a table done next week. I know who's at the top. I think it's Michael Laverty. He's definitely Michael Laverty. I believe he's on 11. So there's out of 14 points here, Colin. The last question...
14 questions?
No. There is only 1, 2... 3, 4 questions, but they will come to 14 points. The last question is it's a multiple answer question, not multiple choice, multiple answer. You will get what I mean, and that is to time as well, 30 seconds. But the first 3 are not. So, first question, Colin. In 1999, who won the first race for GSC Ducati?
Neil Hodgson.
Correct. It was the first race of the season. Brands Indy. Now, you don't get any bonus points for this, but...
He won the last one as well.
All right.
He won the first race.
Is that after he took Sean Emmett out, or Sean Emmett took him out at McLean's? And they had a big fisticuffs in the gravel. I bet you didn't forgot about that one, did you?
Oh, yeah, I had actually. Yeah, that was unbelievable with Odgie. He won the first race of the year and he won the last race of the year. So Christ knows what he was doing for the rest of the
year. I hope he's listening in, because he's going to love that.
Yeah, I do.
In 1998, you worked with Kawasaki in British Superbikes. Chris Walker won the first race of the year. Can you remember who was on the podium with him? Now, you get a points for each correct name here. So, who was on the podium with Chris Walker first race of the year?
What year? 98?
98.
98. I'm going to have a stab at John Reynolds and James Hayden.
James Hayden is correct. You really annoy yourself here, because John Reynolds wasn't, but his teammate Sean Emmett was. So you was right with the correct Ben Atkins Ducati. You just wrong ride on it. So we got 1 point there, 1 point there. Right, okay, moving on to question 3 then. What are the 2 circuits at which Tommy Bridewell has won at?
Alton Park.
Okay.
And cool. Cadwell Park.
Correct. I can't believe this. So you're on at the moment for top mark. Well, nearly top mark. You could be.
What do you mean you can't believe this?
Well, you keep saying to me that I'm the one who reminds you about everything. You know, I hope you're not Googling. There are points docs for that. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I hope you're listening now, because I need a timer. It'll be talked down in my ears. Oh no, we have a timer. Unbelievable scenes. Right. So we have a timer then. 30 seconds, Colin. When I get to the end of the question, your time will start when I say now. So the question is, there were 9 winners in the World Superbike Championship in 2001, your first full-time season in it. Who were they? 30 seconds. Start now.
Colin Edwards, Troy Bayliss, 2001. Kelly, Levere, flipping it, Hodgson, Bostrom, don't know.
5 seconds. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1.
No.
Out of time. No. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So you said Colin Edwards. That was obviously correct. He was second in the championship that year. You said Ben Bostrom. I think he went on a mad run, actually. He won his first in Kyle Army, then went on a mad mid-season run. Troy Bayliss was champion that year. He was correct. Bostrom was right as well, I should say. Neil Hodgson obviously won for you at home at Donington for a second year running, and Frankie Keeley actually won the other race at Donington. He always seems to go well at Donington. You said Levere. Greg Levere never actually won a World Superbike race, I don't believe. So that was a wrong answer. But you did get 5 out of 9. So I suppose you could say more than half, but only by laws of numbers. You could have said Troy Corser did the double at the first round. Of
course.
You could have said Makoto Tamada, who did the double as a wild card at Sugo.
Yeah.
You could have said also Ruben Zaus, who won at Assen.
Flipping it. Yeah.
And I think you're going to annoy yourself here, because at the last round at Imola, Neil Hodgson, I think, ran up the slip road, or was that in 2002? Either way, he would have been in that race with Tosland, who James had a brilliant run at that race as well. But there was a first-time winner at that round, Regis Laconi, in race 2.
Oh,
so you could have said Regis Laconi as well. But 5 out of 9, if you add that on, 7, and then you got the other 2, you're on 9 points. That is very high up, I must say. I am relatively impressed with that. So 9, you're there. I think that places you in the top 3. I'm not sure. Might place you joint 3rd or something. But a very good show in there. Obviously, we'll have to get the rest of your team on now as well, of course, because you are with them. But Colin, I'm sure this won't be the last time me and you have a chat, but on air, fantastic. I had lots of interaction, lots of positive feedback as well. Thanks for coming on. I'm really liking the flat cut, by the way. I'm thinking of getting one myself.
Thanks for your time, Kiko. I've enjoyed it, and I hope your job goes from strength to strength, mate. I really do. You deserve it.
You. I hope yours does as well. I hope this is the start of the comeback.
Oh, mine will. Mine will. You don't have to hope. It will.
No questions asked there, then. Colin, thanks for joining us live on Air Motorsport Radio, the Superbike Show.
Thank you very much, Kiko. Thanks, Lester. Take care.
Motorsport Radio.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Ray from the Kawasaki Racing Team.
Hi, this is Nick Hamilton.
Hi, I'm Jamie Chadwick.
Hey everyone, I'm Bradley Smith.
Hi, I'm Joanne Zacco.
Hi, I'm Bradley Wright.
Hi, I'm Seb Morris.
Hi, I'm Dan Linfoot from Honda Racing, British Superbike Team, and this is Motorsport Radio.
Motorsport Radio. The Superbike Show on Motorsport Radio.
Wow, fantastic stuff. And that was a wonderful chat with Colin Wright. Well done to you, Kiko. That was a good old 40 odd minutes there on the blower. It was not bad. And he revealed main takeaways from that interview. Then he said a few interesting things, particularly as well. I think he shot a few warning arrows across the bows of some people in BSB at the moment.
Diplomatic way of putting things as ever, Lester. Jesus Christ. Question time's on in an hour and a half. We've got to get there in a minute. Brilliant interview. I must say, he revealed a lot. I wasn't on about myself then, by the way, just so people would make sure I'm not being big-headed. No. Interestingly, he's writing off already. Tommy Bridle doesn't think he'll make the showdown. I'm
sure that's just a G him up and motivate him.
I reckon it's a bit of a publicity stunt now. They're going to say, they can claim when they do make the showdown, a surprise or whatever.
Obviously. I mean, it serves two purposes really. One to sort of motivate these riders who. I'm not saying that he's not motivated. I should shut up now. But you can always go more. You can always be faster. You can always, improve a bit more, can't you?
Digging out a hole there, Lester. You dig a hole.
Colin would, it was an interesting listen, anyway. If you want to go back and listen to the entire Colin Wright interview without any of our guff for the rest of the show, you can do so. Head to our website, motorsport.radio. It will be on there from tomorrow, i.e. after the show is off air. And it'll sound fantastic. You can also download the audio version of that as well. Take it with you and play it in your car, maybe on your way to Snetterton next week, is it? Is it next week? BSB?
It is next week. What better way to build up to Snetterton? Colin Wright isn't there. He's at a wedding in the south of France. I think Troy Bayliss is in attendance. So for anyone asking, will Troy Bayliss ride Paul Burt's Ducati? No, is the answer, I think, to that. That's a relatively... I think a good enough reason. But we've got lots to come on the show. So we got into Colin Wright, but coming up tonight, lots of speculation about certain things in the world scene, MotoGP and World Superbikes. Got news to bring you from MotoGP, because if you've been on another universe, it might be the first time you've heard it. World Superbikes obviously comes to the Czech Republic this weekend, and Brno, the first time in 6 years that they've gone there. Lots to get through, I must say. And we've also got a bit of controversial news surrounding a certain Moto2 rider.
There's no controversy here, not on this show.
No,
keep it all clean.
Never. We don't have any controversial presenters at all. But we have got the EU. We've got some EU talk coming up as well.
I've got my finger on the button as well. So just
mute
yourself. I didn't vote for all of this, bloody Nora. Anyway, right. So yes, as I suppose we should just dive straight in with all the biggest news that's happened as well. MotoGP in just a moment, but first, some TT news.
Some TT news, some relatively sad news, I think. Again, for a second show running, young Adam Lyon lost his life at the TT course earlier in the week. He'd been in British Superstock before. He was a a relatively well-known name amongst the British racing scene, and our thoughts and condolences go to the family and friends of Adam Lyne, newcomer to the TT this year as well. A massive future ahead. He looked like he could have gone very, very far indeed. So again, thoughts and condolences to the family of Adam Lyne's second fatality at the TT. Of course, we recorded and reported last week about Dunley.
Yeah, it's another very sad departure from the paddock and the pit lane. I think we had some unfinished news to get through, which I don't think still is properly appropriate regarding another incident that happened at the TT. Investigations ongoing, let's say, and we'll probably ask for your opinion
another time.
If you want to give it at another time. It's probably still too.
We will just update though, for those of you who don't know, Steve Mercer was involved in an accident at TT when the course car was on its way to attend to Dan Neen, the fallen rider who later lost his life. Steve Mercer, his condition was improving, but sadly has deteriorated. We can only wish absolutely every goodwill in our bodies to Steve Mercer. He's so well known, he's so well liked. Diving geezer, he really is. So yeah, just for the family as well, stay strong. We won't speculate on everything now. That's another discussion for another time. It's all a bit raw at the moment, but yeah, thoughts and prayers with the Mercer family at this tough time.
Exactly. Any breaking news, and let's hope for good news, then keep an eye on motorsport.radio as well, our website, where Kiko will be diligently reporting not just said news, but also the latest big hottest rumours and the other breaking news from BSB, and more recently in MotoGP as well. And wow, if there was a transfer window, by the way, we'll get on to talking about what tonight's big question is,
which is a transfer window. Would you introduce it, because we may as well get it out there now, so comments can flood in whilst we chat.
So basically, should there be a football style transfer window in MotoGP? Are we saying just MotoGP? Why not just all bikes? BSB maybe as well?
Yeah, MotoGP, World Superbikes, BSB.
Top level motorbike racing.
And by transfer window, we mean not as in like a mid-season transfer. We're not really talking about that. We're on about Andrea Iannone's fallen victim to this, really, in MotoGP. I mean, he's not helped himself in any way, but his on-track performances have picked up lately this year. He's sixth in the championship, 12 points off second. He's 31 points off the lead or something like that. You have to say, surely Andrea Iannone deserves to be at Suzuki next year. But unfortunately, that's all he's confirmed. He's not after just 5 races this year. He will end at the end of the season his partnership with Suzuki. Should it? I know we can't control when a signing is done, but should it?
Well, they could, really.
They could, I mean, but you will never be able to stop conversations happening to get rid of him and whatnot. But that's the debate. We're going to open that up later on in the show.
Would it add something? I think personally it would actually add something to it would be mostly for our purposes and the media's purposes, really. It would create a bit more of a spectacle, a bit more drama, a bit more controversy. Not that MotoGP needs any, of course, but if there was a transfer window or mid-season or transfer window, you'd probably guess that maybe this week was the cut-off of that transfer window, because there's been so much happening.
It's times like this you don't need one. We'll start with Jorge Lorenzo, off to Repsol Honda. Started his career at factory Yamaha, gone to factory Ducati. Now he's won a race there. He's looking to do the same at Repsol Honda, 2019 and 2020. He will be looking to become the first rider in MotoGP era, so from 2002 onwards, to win a motorcycle race on 3 different makes of bike. But someone has done it before. Who was the last rider to do it? In 1990s it was, in the 1990s and late 80s. One rider managed to win on 3 different makes of machinery. getting your thoughts, getting your predictions on who that was. So, besides that, Jorge Lorenzo, made a switch to Ducati, from Ducati to Repsol Honda. He's being replaced by Danilo Petrucci. So the rumours were rife at the start of the year that Danilo Petrucci looks odds-on relatively to take that ride, and he has done. That's all confirmed. Job done deal. Danilo Petrucci will be on a factory Ducati next year. Happy Shirin has signed to stay in MotoGP for next year. Brilliant news from Malaysia, gotta say. And you've got to remember as well, considering he only came in this year as a replacement rider without 2 days testing that everyone else had, and he's I'd say more or less every round he's in the points. Very, very good job that Happy Shiren's doing. And he's earned him another year. He will stay with Tech 3. Obviously, they move across to KTM. So he'll be on a Tech 3 KTM next year. The big news, though, is obviously with Repsol Honda signing Jorge Lorenzo, and Marc Marquez already had a done deal at the start of the season. Danny Pedrosa may well just be finding himself going to the job centre looking for a bit of the old ESA. So diminutive Danny looking for a ride somewhere in MotoGP. Don't think he's going to go. Well, I would love to see him go to World Superbikes. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. So that is the latest news, really. We've got some more to come, though. But Danny Pedrosa, what a shocker. 18 years together, no more.
Well, why do you think it's happened, anyway, in this way so long? Could it just be, and this is not just a question for you as well, Kiko, if you're tuned in live, listening to us, let us know your thoughts. Was it just the case that they just grew old and sick and tired of each other? As many relationships do. Let's say he had a good run, a good few years, and maybe he just wanted to change. He's just, people want to change.
I think it's a bit more than that. I personally, after the last contract renewals came round, would have got rid of him then. I don't see. I know people say, but Danny Pedrosa won this race and he won last year, and but people claim him to be the perfect number 2. Is he? You can't rely on him not being injured.
Well, you don't want a number 2 rider depending on. I mean, because in that situation, it's similar to the way that Ferrari work in Formula 1. They have usually one clear lead in the team, and the other driver supports him, is quick enough to still keep pace with them, but they're not that worried that he's going to sort of overtake and start winning races all of a sudden. Pedrosa was kind of that person, wasn't he?
Once upon a time, yes. But it's not anymore. Listen to this. Danny Pedrosa, worst qualifying ever at the Italian Grand Prix. You cannot tell me that the perfect number 2 is a 20th place qualifier. He was the last Honda in the grid, and people will say, and make this excuse and make that excuse. But those same people will also say, but he's well worth the ride. Look at all he's done in the future. Unfortunately, you have to look at the modern market. Danny Pedrosa, for me, 2 years ago, got lucky with another contract renewal with Honda. I don't think I wouldn't have renewed him. There's lots of hot talent coming through. Jorge Lorenzo he's there or thereabouts. Okay, he took his first podium of the year last time out with a win at Mugello. How many thousands of miles did Ducati do around Mugello? I don't think Jorge will be there all year. He might get the top 5 in the championship, but is he really going to be a championship threat? Of course he isn't. I don't think he's going to be a championship threat. Danny Pedrosa is the exact same. He will win one race. People always say that he can't get heat in the tyres, this and that, but the track temperature over the weekend was huge. No, he's not like he struggled really badly at Mugello before. So, confusing situation for me. Second year in a row, he's wiped someone out as well. Second year in a row, he's wiped an LCR Honda out at Mugello. He took Takaki Nakagami off at turn 2, took Cal Crutchlow down at turn 10 on the last lap. Last year, he was Takaki Nakagami on the first lap. This year, Nakagami got up, remounted. But disastrous weekend for Danny Pedrosa. He's got to come back. I hope he proves me wrong. I hope he comes back and starts winning. At the moment, though, desperate times. And Jorge Lorenzo, go in there. He isn't the perfect number 2 because he's a number 1 rider. And Repsol Honda, okay, Marquez and Jorge might fall out now. But both riders are going to be 1 and 2, surely. They're going to be in the top 4 in the championship, and that's the perfect number 2.
Well, I mean, maybe Colin Wright might have been the perfect person to ask about this sort of dynamic, about one, because sometimes in a team you can't, from a manager's point of view, not that I'm a successful manager, of course, but you know, I read half of Sir Alex Ferguson's book about managing, so I think I know.
You read?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. It was on tape. But sometimes you do just need to bring in another big name into your team to just give the main guy a bit of a kick up the arse, just to make sure that there's no complacency going on. Because obviously you don't just want to say, you're our number 1 guy, you're there forever, do whatever you want, you'll always be number 1. That can't happen. For various reasons. So sometimes it is good to just mix things up a little bit and just introduce a bit of a potential threat to the guy who's been sort of taking all the team's headlines, really, and doing the business. So I can understand it from that point of view. I might be completely wrong in the reasons as to why that's happened. It might not be that. It might just be that they had a chance to just get him on board for a decent price, and they thought, hey, let's sort the problems out, a bit like what Red Bull do as well. Sorry to keep talking about Formula 1. Obvious comparisons, though, if you do follow Formula 1. But they do let their teammates fight on track, and sometimes it does have devastating consequences for team morale.
It does. But you take the risk, don't you? I mean, Ferrari, I thought would go mental if they had one driver at the front, one at the back. He just wouldn't work. I think that happened a few years ago. 2009, when they brought in Fizzy Keller, that didn't work. But before that, they brought back Luca Badoa.
Yeah, he was just a replacement, though.
You've got to look at it like this. You're going to want both your bikes up the front. There's no point in going racing otherwise, surely. That's the whole point. But anyway, yeah. we speculate about Danny Pedrosa. Lots more to get through. Bradley Smith has said he's ready to retire if he can't get a MotoGP ride. Stunning stuff. I cannot believe that. Bradley's still so young. He's got a lot more to give. Maybe not in MotoGP, definitely in World Superbikes. But then he's the wrong nationality for World Superbikes. It's crowded with Brits as it is.
But would people? Sorry to just cut in there, but again, just a thought that I'd had is, why would anyone want to hire someone who's thinking about retiring?
That's true.
You're thinking, well,
motivation.
Yeah. Is their mind really in it?
He did say, though, he will do anything to stay in the paddock. So that one is going to run throughout this season. Just a bit of gaming news now. MotoGP 2018 has come out. Oh, great. I haven't bought one since 2015. So, that's my recommendation. Mark VDS and Michael Bartolami have agreed a settlement. Of course, the controversy in that team was rife, but they've agreed a settlement. And, the PR people in now, it's not the PR people because Ian Wheeler's left, but the press release that went out basically skirted around all the issues. It's the biggest open secret, I think, in the paddock. Cal Crutchlow was 6th at the weekend in Mugello. We'll talk more about that later. MotoGP F1 news, Marc Marquez and Dani Pedrosa testing the Toro Rosso around Austria, and I believe Marc Marquez was only 6 seconds off the pace. That is astounding. 6 seconds. I do not think...
That's appalling.
6 seconds. Yeah, okay, whatever. He says go-kart champion of Cumbria here. Marc Marquez, 6 seconds off the pace. I mean, that's not bad considering he'd never been in one before.
Well,
we'll come back to this. Or anyway, I do want to get to one pressing issue here.
Go
on. Hector Barbera. What is he doing? Drink driving again. Second time in, I think, 6 years. Unbelievable. I mean, he's running the risk of losing his job, surely, at the Pons team, who, I should add, have Lorenzo Baldassarri looking at race wins. Oh, he's won races this year. 2 podiums in the last 3 races.
I personally, I wouldn't go too heavy on him for getting caught. I mean, I don't know what the circumstances were, for example, why or what had happened before.
Guess he'd had too much to drink when he was driving.
Yes, but there's always a reason behind that, and it's usually always mental health connected. So for that reason, I wouldn't, because we don't know what else is going on in his life. You might just think, if it happens once, you just say, oh, he's a bit of an idiot.
I don't really want to bring it in, but I will, because I've already gone there. He was in a domestic violence thing with his girlfriend a few years ago, so I don't. It's a few off-track controversies for Hector Barber. It's going to be very interesting to see whether he makes Catalonia, because that's in literally over a week's time, just over a week's time, 8 days for the one of 4 home races for him. So, yeah, Hector Barber. I think we called it on Twitter a silly old Hector. Disaster. But anyway, more pleasant news. First time in 42 years that MV Augusta are back. And for the visual radio viewers now, we do have a little image, I believe. The new MV Augusta Ford racing machine has been unveiled.
It certainly has. Ta-da!
So we don't have the image for you just yet, but if you stay tuned to us on our social media channels, I'm sure I'll put the image on, because I know it'll get there. But I'll do it in a moment when Lester actually stops fapping about.
Thank you. Yeah, it's not like I was a bit busy for the first half hour of the show.
No, it's not like we planned the show or anything.
No,
we have anyway. 4 pages. We have a 4-page reel of a show plan. Out the window tonight. My window's still open from when I tossed it out there.
And in other news as well, Suzuki and in World Superbikes might be making a potential return.
Yeah, Bradley Ray linked with that ride. I don't think that's news. To be fair, I put it in there, but everyone knows it's
more of a rumour, isn't it?
It's Suzuki want to come back. They know they want to come back. Sylvain Guintoli and Brad Ray would be my guess at a lineup there.
What do you know then?
Not a lot. I know Suzuki want to come back. It's just so obvious.
Sounds like you know something.
Why would you bring a new Superbike out and not put it on the world scene? Don't give me them eyes. Don't look at me in that tone of voice.
Go on, guy who does Brad Ray's personal PR. What do you know?
World Supersport news. Carl Smith has rejoined the Simon Buckmaster CIA Landlords Insurance Honda team, and I can reveal to you that tomorrow there is an exclusive interview with Simon Buckmaster going on our motorsport.radio website. So keep your eyes open for that. That's coming out tomorrow.
Fantastic stuff. Yes, back to Hector Barbera, not Hannah. Barbera. I always get them. Every time I hear his name, he always reminds me of... Anyway,
You ain't got a Scooby-Doo, you ain't.
Anyway, so... do you reckon he'll actually stay in GP? Where would he go, and what's going on? Why?
Well, these off-track excursions, and I don't mean that literally on track, I mean these off-track shenanigans going on in his life, they're not doing him much good. You know, as you say, we've got to be careful with how this and why this has happened, but second time in a short space of time, why would any team want to commit to that? And to be fair, you could have said he would drink driving with a ludicrous movie put on Tetsuya Nakajima at the weekend. It was ludicrous. He tried going up the inside at turn 3 at Mugello, and no one wiped them both out. It was a silly movie. He got a 6-place grid penalty for that at the next round of Barcelona anyway. So he's qualifying down the field anyway. He probably started from home. So disaster for Hector Barbera. I hope he stays, because he's put in some good performances in the past. But you got to wonder. You have got to wonder.
So you'd be, you're a general supporter of old Mr. B, then, are you?
Yeah. I think he's been a bit underperforming this year. Don't think he's set too many podiums or fastest laps or race wins in his sights. Unfortunately, I think he's a little bit underachieving, considering his younger teammate with a lot less experience is doing the business and winning races. Lorenzo Baldassari won at Jerez and was second in Mugello his own round. So tricky times for Hector Barbera.
That one will probably run, and we'll if there's any news regarding anything about that, check out the website. Yeah, motorsport.radio. That's the domain. Not motorsport.radio.co.uk or motorsport.radio.com. I know it's confusing. It's just motorsport.radio. Literally.
We've got a prediction coming anyway.
Oh, yeah. Go on.
I asked who the last rider to win 3 races was in the Premier class, Andrew Jaws says, Steady Eddie, that's Eddie Lawson, won Yamaha, he did, won a title with Yamaha, won on Honda, he did, and he won on a Kajiva. People forget that, 1992 Hungaroring, he come from almost 2 laps down to win. He stayed out on dry tyres, phenomenal race, so it was unbelievable. It's out there on my DVD collection, I'm looking at it right now. Fantastic race it was. If you haven't seen it, sign up to the MotoGP website, give it a watch.
Tip of my tongue, that.
Some BSB news.
Yes, BSB news, which actually broke on our show last week, sort of, not really.
Yeah, sort of, not really. It was on a press release, but we knew before that went out anyway. So, Josh Elliott left Morello Kawasaki as we brought to you with the first live exclusive interview that his former team owner Steve Buckingham did for us. He joins OMG Racing. So the new team, after we'd done the show last week, it came out that Ben Luxton had left the team. They parted company, the OMG Racing and Ben Luxton. So Josh Elliott joins that outfit now ahead of the Snetterton round. He's out in Aragon now doing some testing. Good signing, I must say. It's going to be tough, of course, because that National Superstock 1000 Championship is mega, mega hard. But it's going to be great to see Josh hopefully back up the sharp end. But also some news on who his replacement is at Morello, Luke Jones. And I tell you now, Luke Jones is fast. He is fast. He's very, very fast indeed. He's just got to make sure he's fit and healthy. And I think Morello may well just be on course with a few more wins than they anticipated at the start of the season.
Go back on our website, motorsport.radio, and listen, download, or watch the full interview with Steve Buckingham as he was breaking that news to us on last week's show, and it goes into a lot of depth about many things, so check that out. It's still on our website right now, as are all of the web interviews that we do, including tonight's interview with Colin Wright. That'll be on as well at some point over the weekend, so keep your eyes open for that. And there's been this is a news item that Kiko wanted to mention, something regarding the not Britain.
Well, we should mention just before, Ben Luxton, who lost his ride, has gone to GNS Kawasaki. He was with them last year, took a splendid second place at Alton Park with them. So expect Ben to be giving Ryan Vickers some grief, I think, on track, and it should be a good battle. Ryan's been walking away with it. Ryan back in the National Superstock 600 category at Snetterton. It's home round. He missed the Donington Park World Superbike meeting in that class because he was a World Super Sports rider with Simon Buckmaster's team. Crashed out after 1.5 laps, but he's back in the... No, he's back in the Stock 600 class this week, and believe me, home round last year is where he started to come into fame. Fantastic ride until he crashed on the last lap, so expect Ryan Vickers to be back up the sharp end. But, as you say, some nice news coming from Europe. No, Brexit has not finally been done, sadly. British motorsport news, in effect, the EU is threatening it. Motorcycle News reported in the week that due to a law change, and it's also a positional change because the EU stance on this beforehand wasn't as adverse, but it's high insurance prices is basically, and insurance companies are not really willing to cover motorcycle racing or motorsport events in Britain, and that could end it. Of course, that is a bit of a dystopian view of it. I don't think it will come to that because there's far too much money in it, far too much talent. Why would you bother?
So there was a thing that had emerged. Is it the same thing about the insurance companies that you've got to I forgot exactly what it was called. I should have researched this, but there was something involving the insurance companies being mandated all around Europe to basically insure every vehicle as though it was a road vehicle. So your lawnmower, for example, your paddock bike would have to get full proper insurance, and you'd have to pay literally full price, and everyone basically, it was threatened that loads of prices would have to go up, and and I was keeping a close eye on it from the car racing world perspective, and the chief executive of the Motorsport Industry Association came out and said this is going to be terrible. This could threaten all of motorsport. Basically, Chris Aylett came out and said that last year, I believe it was, but still decided to say, oh yes, well, Brexit still, we need to, but yeah, this other thing which is not connected, we've properly turned into question time now, haven't we? Shit.
And he said, and just for context, Lester told me It's not a question time preview show, and now he's gone and started it. We should just add, this is what it is. Motorcycle News, check it out. Brilliant article by Jordan Gibbons. Says that in other EU countries where this has already been applied, premiums have risen dramatically, making many events unsustainable.
Yeah, I think it is the same, but I forgot the bloody rule thing that it was called. It was something insurance, yada yada thingy.
In the UK alone, this is what Tony Campbell, CEO of MCIA, this is Motorcycle News' website, you can check it out, but in effect it says, in the UK alone, motorcycle sport is estimated to be worth £1 billion, and motorsport in general is worth relative amounts in £11 billion across all forms. So we're talking big money, but it's not just me who has, or wants to have. Why did I say that? That doesn't even make sense.
Should we move on?
We should. We have lots to get through before we start digging ourselves into a political minefield and whatnot. The Italian GP may have happened last weekend, and what a race! Jorge Lorenzo, back at his best, cleared off at the front, led every single lap, every single corner. I think the Italians were a little bit confused. Ducati won, but Jorge Lorenzo was on it. Not the Ducati that they wanted to win. Valentino Rossi, 3 consecutive front rows at Mugello now, and took a 3rd place. First back-to-back podium in over a year. So, hard to believe that's a statistic.
I mean, when you're starting on the front, and then you fall back, I mean, he was very, very, very close to not even having a podium, really, because he had struggled and he'd sort of got bumped down to about 5th or something like that, and he was even struggling to remain in 5th place, I think it was. So yeah, it was perhaps it was a good recovery ride, I'd say.
Well, I don't know. He was relatively close to 2nd place. He so down. He backed off a bit too soon for my liking, I've got to say.
But yeah, he could have. Perhaps, depending on your views of how much you love Rossi, he could have won that race, but he didn't.
He didn't. You're quite right, Lester. He absolutely didn't.
So from that point of view, it was
subdued Italian fans, I think. But apart from that, Suzuki looking much, much better. First double top 5 of the year, first double top 5 since Motegi last year. Andrea Iannone 4th, Alex Rins 5th. So good stuff there. Alex Rins obviously got that contract in the bag. We believe Joan Mir has the other one. No, Andrea Iannone though next year. Marquez crashed out of the race, finished 16th. Obviously got back on remounted because Marquez never crashes out.
Except when I say that he does.
Opens up the title a little bit because Leicester was on my case all Sunday. I told you so.
Well, on last week's show, one of the things that happened, Kiko was saying, "Oh, it's all over now. The championship's gone. Everyone might as well just go home."
1 minute. You're telling me
Marquez has a 36 points. That's unattainable for anyone else. He's obviously going to waltz home for the rest of the... And I just said, well, chill out a second.
He's still 23 points ahead.
He might not
take the lead of it in the next round. And he still needs to score no more than 2 points, and they have to win.
And Kiko was like,
they is Valentino Rossi.
Is the season all over now? And I said, well, no. He said, oh, do you think it's too much to come back from a 36-point deficit for the rest of the pack? Well, no, because you're missing the fact that Marquez could have a bad weekend. He might have a DNF, or he might fall off, or something bad might happen. And it did.
We must say, before we move on, if you haven't seen it, Michele
God.
Excuse me. Michele Pirro.
He's auditioning for NASA.
The crash he said, unbelievable scenes. Excuse me, frog in my throat. How he was standing in pit lane on Sunday afternoon after that crash on Friday is unbelievable. It is genuinely frightening. He was face down, unconscious in the gravel. I think a lot of people were thinking the worst. Unbelievable how he come back. And Michele Pirro, he suffers a dislocated shoulder. That's something he can put back in. Unreal. So, Michele Pirro, I put it out on my own Facebook. Check it out. It was Nails Call Michele Pirro Hard. Because if you see the crash, he went out at over 200 miles an hour through the front door. That's a hell of an accident to have. Really big crash.
Yeah. He's a lucky guy. I tell you. It certainly is. Just going back to Marquez, though, do you think, I mean, as predicted by myself, that he wouldn't have the best weekend at some point? I didn't know it was going to happen the next round when I said it, but it did anyway. But is it potentially another chink in his armour? Because we've seen what happened earlier in the season. He is prone, he can make mistakes, and he has made mistakes in the past. The Argentina race. And is he just showing more weakness now to the other guys after what happened at the weekend?
In a way, yes. More crucially, the time that he's done it. He hasn't won in Barcelona since 2014. That's the next race. He hasn't won in Assen, I don't believe, since 2014 again. So, problem is, you're coming to a track. So
he's overdue a win, though, really.
If you're overdue a win, yes. But if you look back, second last year at Catalonia, good result. Second year before, good result. Crashed out in 15. Marquez, the problem is he was second to Andrea Dovizioso, who was second in last year's championship, and second to Valentino Rossi in 2016, who was second in the championship. Now, yes, he won the last two championships, but if Valentino Rossi wins, for example, and Marquez finishes second, then his lead gets cut to 18 points. Now, we're not expecting Yamaha to really perform very well at Catalunya because they struggled massively last year. Well, then the factory team did. But in Assen, Valentino Rossi is the legend of Assen. 10 wins there. Last year's winner there as well. Valentino, if Marquez makes a mistake in Catalunya and Valentino bags a top 10, your championship points are coming down a bit more, especially as well if Dovizioso starts showing good. That top 10, that points decrease is going to be massive going into Assen.
That's your official prediction.
But of course, that can be made back up when they go to the Saxon, because Marquez is undefeated there since 2010 in all classes.
Okay.
Of course, he's overdue a DNF then, if you look at it that way, or overdue a non-win at the German Grand Prix.
Who knows? Maybe only time will tell. But if you think you know what will happen at Assen or anywhere else, let us know. Get in touch so we can have a bet. It's at M Sport Radio on Twitter. If you're tuned in live to us there, because that's where we stream as well, at M Sport Radio, streaming live, visual radio, sounding brilliant, and never not. On Facebook as well, we're on there, streaming live, Superbike Show.
Oh, yeah. And I must just add in,
yes.
God, as I chuck my pencil around, if I'm looking down, for visuals viewers, if I'm looking down, it's because I'm looking.
You don't want to look at you.
It's because I'm reading people's comments and seeing if there's anything of worthiness.
Hold on.
And so just don't feel like I'm ignoring you. I'm just keeping tabs on a developing situation.
So rude.
Carrying on with the news. Well, Miss Danny Pedro's out. We've spoken enough about him. Jack Miller crashed out of the Italian Grand Prix, ends his 8th race run of top 10s. Sad times really for Jack. Zarco, what has gone on there at Mugello?
What are you playing at?
Bit of a disappointing round there last year, and again this year. I don't know if that's a track thing. I can't imagine it would be. He's won there in 2016 on a Moto2 bike in a scrap.
Has he lost his confidence?
May well have, because of course he crashed out of his home Grand Prix. Was it just a bit of a knock? Is
he hiding some other thing that he's not told us? An injury somewhere, right? His due.
I don't know. Maybe he, like I say, he struggled there last year, so I don't know. Maybe Zarco struggling off the front row for the first time since Aragon last year as well. That's the more incredible stat for me about that. Double DNF for Aprilia moving on. Well, in Aprilia's case, not moving on. Very poor performance, that's all I'm saying. KTM still, after 6 races, not got their first top 10 in MotoGP this year. Again, I said in the last show, KTM have got to start coming good in Europe. Finishing 11th is okay, but you've got Johan Zarco going there next year. You've got Pol Espargaro remaining there next year. You are wanting more than 11th. MotoGP is very hard at the moment, but come on. top tens. You got to be looking at any manufacturer, factory backed, is looking at top tens.
Okay, I'll take your word for that. I'm not going to argue. A couple of comments have flooded in. By the way, I don't know if you've read these ones.
I haven't, no,
already.
probably not.
But yeah, just before we carry on with the other bits of noteworthy news and such from what happened. Regular listener, Jay King, been on. Hi, Jay. Who was at the TT last week.
He was.
Streaming live. We should have got him on. Missed opportunity there.
We should have.
Hello anyway, Jay. He says, what's the deal with Ray? Is MotoGP off the cards now? I don't think it was ever on the cards. I think it was just people speculating, to be honest.
Oh, Leicester, with an opinion. Unreal. I agree.
Says the guy who's always right. Yeah, me, hello. That was the most arrogant thing I've ever said.
I was going to say, steady on. Your nose is going up.
Oh, Kiko with an opinion. Hold the front page. Right, but yeah, no, Ray.
No, Johnny Ray. Yeah, his manager is in. His manager was around in MotoGP.
Who else does he manage though?
That's the question. And also, you've got to remember, Johnny Ray's been there. He's a 3-time World Superbike champion. Of course, people are going to want him, but are they going to want him? He's alongside a 30 for a start, I think. That's just my thoughts.
So you throw him out on the... He's ready for scrap heap then, in your opinion?
No. I wouldn't. But team managers and team owners will look at it like that. People will think... It's one thing winning, and what very few riders have managed a successful transition. Troy Bayliss, yes. 02, he was second in World Superbikes. 03, I think he was sixth in GP. He's managed...
That's an unfortunate position for his face to... to freeze on, I suppose. But yeah, just to, I suppose, finish on that point, his face is still like that most of the time. But yeah, no, Jay will, I think it was an obvious 2 and 2 to put together, I would suppose, with him being such a champion. And obviously with his talents and stuff. But there again, as Kiko mentioned, he is knocking on a bit now. And should he sort of risk his legacy that he has built up, even inadvertently, because he happens to have coincidentally won those 3, maybe 4 titles. Over in World Superbikes, though, but why would he risk that going to a bad performing MotoGP team?
Problem is, it's exactly that. Why would you? And it's not just him. Cameron Bobier in America, people say, why doesn't he go over to World Superbikes? America's crying out for a World Superbike rider. World Superbike's crying out for an American rider. Please give him a ride. Why? He's on millions. He's on a great salary in America. That's the reason. And it's the same for Johnny Ray. He's not going to risk his reputation. He's got a family as well, more travelling, and he'd only go there on the right opportunity. Well, both factory Yamahas are taken. Both factory Hondas are taken. Both factory Ducatis are taken. We're assuming both factory Suzukis are taken. Both factory KTMs are taken, and both satellite KTMs are taken. Their factory as well. Was one seat at Aprilia. We believe that's going to Iannone, and that's not a competitive ride. So, all in all,
well, it's Freddie.
It's not going to happen.
Freddie Hewitt's been on. Hi, Fred. Freddie, and he actually suggested maybe Ray could go to Aprilia, maybe as a super shock, late minute, last move.
But why would he? They're not a good team. They're not a good enough team.
Maybe not now, but with him on board and, being Ray and everyone.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt the kid has got talent. There is no one question that Johnny Ray's bags of it. But his talent does not belong somewhere like Aprilia. I'm sorry, that's not a criticism of Johnny Ray, that's a criticism of Aprilia. They are underperforming. I'm sorry, their worst mistake, and I've said it before, and I will say it again, their worst mistake was getting rid of Stefan Bradl and Alvaro Bautista. That was the worst thing they could have done. Interestingly, people say that the bike was unbelievable when they were developing it. It was going in the right direction, top tens towards the end of their tenure at the team. Suddenly, when they go, Oh, look what happens. Hardly anything. A couple of top sixes from Malaysia Spargo. That's not criticising the rider, though. You've got to wonder, are they developing in the right direction? Sounds horrible, but look at the results. Just look at the results. They are underperforming. I don't want to go off on a rant again like I did with World Superbike attendance and McCann's Yamaha before.
Kiko does rant on the show.
But Aprilia are struggling, and they've got to sort it out. Maybe putting Iannone there is the right thing for them. Because you know Iannone is going to give 200%.
Oh, and Ray wouldn't.
No, but I'm saying he will crash it. But he will find the limit. I'm not saying Johnny Ray won't, but Johnny Ray doesn't want to. Andrea Iannone is fighting for a ride. Andrea Iannone needs Aprilia to give him a ride. Johnny Ray's not fighting for a ride, he's fighting him off.
I suppose that is the big difference, I suppose, yeah. For whatever conspiracy theories that we might attribute to Johnny Ray, it doesn't necessarily mean that he needs to go anywhere. He is still on...
mega money,
yeah,
and on for World Superbike history maker, which he already is.
Yeah, and he's still got the best overall package at the moment, and whether he does it for a fourth time, it will tell time. Anyway, but yeah, probably
Moto 2. Moto 2. Shall we crack on with Moto 2, I think?
Come on, then.
Okay. Francesco Bagnaia. Bit of a slippy weekend for him. Not looking amazing. Fourth, though. Drops a few points in the championship. Drops 12 points. Miguel Oliveira won in Moto 2 from 11th on the grid. Unbelievable.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, I did mention, I wasn't even paying attention, I was watching Facebook comments. Someone screenshot this, please. There you go. That's going in the end of year highlights, that. Oh, sorry, we wasn't laughing at you, we were laughing with you.
I don't even know if you were laughing. The whole thing just stopped. That's why I stopped. I thought, please, let's just save
That's
it here.
fine. We were just
we'll stop away from the
all...
technical issues here that I'm getting through my ears now. I'm just getting bits of us going. We'll crack on. Anyway, Lester's telling me what my connection's done. I shouldn't laugh. It's inside jokes. But no. Moving on, Marquez beaten by his teammate. Alex Marquez beaten by his teammate. Joan Mir looking the real deal. Back-to-back podiums in Moto 2 in his debut season. Fantastic stuff. Lorenzo Baldassari strong again at Mugello, and I really hope he can continue this run, because if he can, he may well be a championship winner. And if he is, doesn't look like he'll get a ride. Can he be a championship winner though? That's the question.
Tis question, and well, we've got another big question as well. We will come back to Moto 3 and such in a moment. But yeah, still an ongoing question from tonight's show, which is, Kiko?
Should we introduce a transfer window for MotoGP? We have had a couple of comments about that earlier on in the show, I believe. So let me get to them, Lester. Talk amongst yourself, my son.
Okay, I will, yes. Let us know. Should MotoGP, or let's say the top of motorcycle racing, BSB, World Superbikes, etc., should there be a football-style transfer window? Now, just think about this for a moment. For World Superbikes, it would add, I think, not much, but something. Mostly for us, and it would give us a reason, I think, to maybe do like a transfer deadline day special. Wouldn't that be good? That would be. We
could all wear yellow ties.
Yeah, we've already got the logo yellow and everything and stuff, and and we could get people on like
pencils, nearly.
Yeah, I think it's pencils that he's chewed to bits. But yeah, no, we could get people on like announcing big decision shock moves. So and so's just gone to BSB from MotoGP or wherever or whatever. Proper Jim White on Sky Sport News, and transfer deadline day is good mostly for the fact that everyone loves to watch Sky Sports News. And Jim White and the whole production. That is what Transfer Deadlines Day is all about, to be honest.
Yeah, but no Kirsty Gallagher anymore. Or Gallagher. She's left.
Big shame. Yes.
I think she went out of week 6 Strictly Come Dancing as well, so early exit there. Oh, God, I've just revealed I watched that. Oh, God, no.
Didn't even know she was in that, to be honest.
Moving on, Moto 3, Jorge Martin has only just won, beating Marco Bezzecchi and Fabio Di Gianantonio. Last time anyone won from pole at Mugello in the lightweight class was Maverick
2006.
In 2012. No, 2006, Mattia Passini won. I don't think he won from pole. I think Hector Farbell was on pole. Hector Farbell, friend on Facebook, if you're watching, Spanish for hello. Buenos noches, because it's good night. I see it's in there somewhere. Other Moto 3 news, Rodrigo, a really impressive fourth. The Argentine really coming good there. Fantastic rides from Tony Arbolino, coming from 19th or 18th on the grid, and Ea Bastianini coming from 14th on the grid, both of which got in top 8 positions. 8 points covers the top 3 in the title, and unfortunately the top 3 in the title does not consist of John McPhee from Scotland. He was 12th at the weekend in Moto 3. Disappointing times, and he's not the only Brit. Going back to Moto 2, Sam Lowes crashed again.
Is old Sam in danger of losing his ride, do you think? I mean, he's not had the best first half season, has he?
I don't think he's in danger yet. Carries on, maybe. I don't want to sound harsh like that, but you know.
But you will anyway.
It's not gone well, has it? A lot of people are expecting Sam to be right up the sharp end.
Well, there's only one winner in a race, and everyone else is technically a loser. So, how much do you want to judge him? To be honest,
podiums. People on about podiums.
Okay.
Poles, front rows. It's just not happened, unfortunately.
Yet
it can. There's a long way in this. See, this is why we need the transfer window, because people like us speculate way too soon.
Yeah, I think. I mean, we'll get back onto the transfer window a bit later, but I had a couple of ideas as to why it also might work, and for teams and riders alike. But yeah, MotoGP rumours. Did we talk about many?
We've mentioned Danny Pedrosa, probably going to be on a Petronas satellite Yamaha, if they say. Others say retirement, but he's announcing his future at Barcelona. Makes me think that his future may not be retirement, because otherwise that's not a future. Scott Redding's career is, in jeopardy, I think. That's fair to say. Unfortunately, everyone's a big Scott Redding fan, still so young as well, so much to give. But it's been a difficult year. I'd put that down more to the bike he's on.
He will come back, Redding.
Joan Mir, still not confirmed at Suzuki. Has something gone wrong? Don't know, probably not. Iannone to Aprilia, some others say Petronas Yamaha, if that deal comes around. Morbidelli, contracted to Mark VDS, and now they've got their problems nearly sorted out. He will probably stay with Mark VDS, but the question is on what machinery?
That is a question and a half. So yeah, tonight we're asking the big question here on the Superbike Show on Motorsport Radio. Should MotoGP or top line bike championships in the world, should they introduce a transfer window for riders and bikes? My own opinion on this, not that you asked for it, but I do think that I'll just give it you anyway. It would be good for the reasons I've previously said, and also as well, it would potentially add a bit of stability for riders who know they can't be dropped in, let's say there's, I don't know, a half-season mid-transfer window or whatever. Let's just say there is. But riders, in theory, have signed up, and they're signed up in, like, say, half-season blocks or whatever it happens to be, a full season. They know they're secure. They're not going to get dropped. And also, likewise, it guarantees the team a certain amount of revenue as well. So it says to the team, and I'm not thinking like, obviously like MotoGP, this is more for like BSB and their paddock, who perennially struggle with riders coming and going, especially in the other classes that aren't.
Well,
BSB.
as we've seen recently with Ben Luxton going and Josh Elliott going and da-da-da-da-da.
And yeah, so it would, I mean, if you've got a rider that on transfer deadline day, you've got secured, you've got the contract, boom, and yes, contract. I'm sure everyone's got a contract, and it's only as good as the paper it's written on. To be honest, if the money isn't forthcoming, but I think a transfer window could help, probably won't, in helping secure a bit more stability for teams' budgets, I think. What do you think? Let me know.
Let us know, indeed.
Indeed, it's at M Sport Radio on the old Twitter. We're on Facebook streaming live. We're streaming in audio as well, because we do that here on Motorsport Radio. The old audio radio, the old-fashioned thing, I suppose. But you can also go back and download any of the interviews that we've done this season on our website, motorsport.radio, Kiko.
You absolutely can, and there's a lot of them. Right, okay, we're on about hospitality units next. Excuse me, so I just mess about with my ear. Hospitality units. Right, okay. I have a little bit of a thing for hospitality units, I'm not going to lie. They are pretty amazing works of art. And we're going to start off with the KTM one. So we will come with images soon, but I just want to explain to you why I like hospitality units. They are a little bit special for me, because it almost creates like its own restaurant and own suite and its own bar, and it all gets packed away soon. But there are some extreme ones coming up for the visual radio viewers. They will be up in a moment. After we've spoke about hospitalities, we're going to girlfriend talk. Breaking news coming out of that one for sure.
Oh,
then
is this girlfriend news have anything to do with the fact that you've been watching Love Island?
No, I have not been watching I have not been watching the Isle of Man TT highlights at all.
Right.
We've scheduled in a transfer window discussion, but that's kind of been drip-fed throughout the show, so we're probably going to miss that out. World Superbike rumours, we can go through them briefly. But after all of that, we have World Superbike's preview from Renault, and Leicester's going to tell us who the winners are. So, yeah.
Oh, I noticed that my predictions for last week's Grand Prix didn't go too well, but I don't really care, to be honest.
Yeah, I can't remember what you actually said. I have the... I
noticed that you diligently write them down and then forget whenever we're wrong.
Oh,
just like I do, but...
I will have a breeze through as I scan through the old paperwork and whatnot. No, they're not in there. But hospitality units.
Yes.
KTM's hospitality unit. It's just madness. Have you seen it, Lester? Have you seen...
I have seen it. I'm trying to find a picture of it. Talk amongst yourself.
Well, what we're about to show is the KTM hospitality unit. Now, it is...
Looks like a council estate.
It is an absolute block of flats.
I guess
Derek Johnson phoned, said, can he have Nelson Mandela House back?
Oh, God.
It's absolutely obscene.
So we're never getting invited in there, are we?
It's obscene in such a good way, because it's so funny. He's got a rooftop garden. Credit to Luke Brackenbury for this photo, KTM's PR man. It's just, that is amazing. That is absolutely phenomenal. How on earth? It's 16 lorries that takes to build. It takes them 3 days to put it up and take it down. It is phenomenal. That thing it's a shed. That should be on Grand Designs. I love that. It's just hilarious.
Yeah, it's seemingly a... I don't have many words to describe it, so I won't.
I have two. Shopping centre. Or one, Meadow Hall. Let's just look at it. It's unbelievable. It looks like council offices. Next one, we have Mark VDS, who recently invested in a new one. Here it is. And I've been in the old one for a beer. I must say, Australia Galicia agrees with me. Mark VDS, yeah, there it is. Simon Patterson with that photo. See, again, look how amazing it is. It is literally a house.
Well, it's more the standard...
It looks good.
Yeah, it does look nice. It's more the standard sort of two-truck setup. I can't believe we're nerding out on hospitality.
Oh, I know, but it's such a good feature. It's like a prop. That's bigger than my local.
Local
and
what?
It's all on
Church.
one level. Yeah. Yeah, bigger than my local.
Some of these are bigger than cathedrals, to be honest. They really are.
I'll tell you what, if you put the KTM one in Mansfield, I think we'll get recognised as a city. Next one's Aprilia's. Now, this is a brilliant one. This reminds me of somebody you'd look at it. If you've been tuning in visually, that is like the most... You do your hair in that.
You would?
I tell you, I would. That is like... It's one of them... like you got like... They're kind of... That, to me, reminds me of a country that you wouldn't really think of having nice architecture, but really does. So that would fit in very well somewhere like Azerbaijan, with its new modern city. That is amazing.
Or maybe as a shop front in any sort of major city in the world. If you were like walking down like New York or London or something, you wouldn't be surprised to see an all glass reflective.
It is very true. I actually had a phone call from the architect who built the Shard, and he wants to know, can they have their ground level entrance back? Cassini Aprilia, that is fantastic. We're going to go World Superbikes now. If you haven't seen it already, Kawasaki.
Oh yeah. So that's more sort of British, isn't it?
That is very, very. That is a 2 up, 2 down. That is your terraced house.
Nothing wrong with that. I mean,
beautiful.
I'd have that.
Not very disabled friendly though. If you're eating for a panoramic view of Donington Park.
Well, no, however, steps aren't generally.
Yes, steps aren't too wheelchair accessible. But I like that. I do like that. That's almost a tamed down version of the old KTM one. It's still my favourite, that KTM. But yeah, that's what you expect at World Superbikes. There are bigger ones, of course. There's the Red Bull Honda one's immense. It really looks the part. But no, the Kawasaki one. What would you go there, Lester?
If I was invited, yeah, I'd go for a cup of tea and whatever else they have.
Yeah, probably. What's some Lotus caramelised biscuits or something?
Lotus biscuits.
Yeah, and they'd be very well in green.
Okay, well, but yeah, hospitality units there. Do we still have any listeners tuned in?
We're going to move on to British Superbikes now, and this is Paul
Bird. My caravan that I brought to the BSB at. That's one of the bigger ones, isn't it?
This is my own personal accommodation, of course. That is very impressive. A very impressive setup. That is credit to Paul Bird Motorsport. We should add Scott Johnson to the credit list of the Kawasaki one. Thank you very much for putting that on Twitter.
And for radio listeners as well, we obviously need to describe this as well, because they're probably thinking, what the hell are you talking about?
Radio listeners... we are on about Paul Bird's setup. Very impressive setup, huge setup. It's like a big lorry, bit of an extension out the side and a massive awning out the front.
Such a great stuff.
Yeah.
It's like a big lorry and a bit out the side of the back, and then you got a tent over there. Bish bash bosh. Have it up in 2 days.
I never was very good at descriptive language. You can ask my English teacher, Miss Toll, for that one.
The commentator.
Said the commentator for radio. Yeah, I know, great, isn't it? But no, that is the. That's the most pointless feature we have ever done.
Well, you said it, not me. I don't even know. I mean, like, literally, Kiko was like, "Oh, I've got a fantastic idea for a new feature." Like, go on then.
KTM, look at that KTM. Do you know what I love about it? It's still got. Look at the tables and chairs. Unreal. Yeah, the size of it is just immense. And it's disabled friendly. They've thought about that.
Well, it'd have to be. It's the size of, like, a shopping centre.
I bet they turn the lights off at night and convert it into a Hollister.
That does look like a big... That's at least a week's effort, because you've got not only... I don't know how far back, how deep the actual
It's
thing
massive.
goes.
I've been in... I've not been in it, but I've been next to it, and you cannot imagine the size of it.
Because these things are like traditionally they're born out of things like a simple race truck, and then they're just developed with like pull out, slide out extra things, and then you stick 2 race trucks together, and then you've got a middle section which could be a hospitality area, and then the whole thing just ballooned out of. I mean, Aprilia's is like a good example of that, because you've got the 2 trucks at either side and you stick a massive big window in the bloody middle of it. But these things are just becoming more obscenely
gorgeous.
Obscene. I mean, these are
I love that one. That looks neat. The colours look
It's
fantastic.
understated Mark VDS one, I would say. And it also looks like you could, like the front, it's got a little sort of Total little design feature. It looks almost like it's a staircase going up to the second floor. It might even be.
Well, I'll tell you, that's a very steep staircase. That's ladders, Lester.
Well,
they're ladders.
Yeah, I mean, you don't.
It's a staircase. It's a staircase to the Burmese, but it's unfortunately that is a that's a ladder.
Anyway, right. So that's Kiko's collection of pictures of hospitality units, event centres, and motorhomes there.
I love things like that. We will bring you more if we can get. If you've got a photo of the most obscene hospitality unit, if you think you can beat the KTM, send it in to us. Don't keep it to yourself. Send it in to us, please.
On next week's show, Kiko's collections of black puddings from around the world in places where he's eaten.
Black pudding, I tell you.
That's very dangerous to actually becoming a thing.
It is a thing. Right, World Superbikes.
Oh, yes.
We're going to quickly skip through this. Rumours and preview at the same time.
Go on, then.
Michael van der Mark looking to become the first rider ever whose first 4 World Superbike wins came all together, as in back-to-back. Johnny Ray is looking to get back on top and exceed Fogarty's record. Of course, he's yet to do so. So watch out for young Johnny Ray looking for that 4th title, of course. Chaz Davies, Tom Sykes, Markham Landry have got to be back on the pace at Brno because they are literally watching Johnny Ray walk off with his championship again at the midpoint. They have to get back on it. Xavi Forés is looking a bit interesting, I've got to say. A bit of a disappointing round, I think that would be fair to say, at Donington. That was like that for the whole Ducati. Expect Razgatlioglu to be back up there. Of course, Manuel Pacetti re-signed him at Pacetti Kawasaki for another season. And Keenan Sofroglu, his protege, with that 2nd place in race 2 at Donington Park, looking to go a bit further, maybe one step further at Brno. Level playing field a little bit more so, because some riders won't have been there on the current bikes, of course. The World Superbikes returning there after a 6-year absence. Andrej Jezek is the home hero. He's a Czech rider. Probably still be at the back, unfortunately. For him, I don't think local knowledge really plays a part in any form of motorsport now. I don't think it's a massive thing. There are some rumours going on World Superbikes. We spoke about Van der Mark to Kawasaki last week. Sykes to Yamaha, as is Melandri, maybe next week. Last week, maybe to Yamaha. That's still a rumour. Johnny Ray, maybe going to GP, like we said earlier, probably not. Alvaro Bautista, Alex Lowe's and Bradley Smith. Probably not Bradley Smith anymore, but Alvaro Bautista and Alex Lowe certainly looking to go to Honda, who in turn have a much fitter Leon Camier back this weekend. Leon Camier, I predict a podium coming, maybe a win coming before the end of this season. 5 World Superbike winners already this year.
So you're predicting a win there? Not maybe a win. You said a win.
I said a win at some point, maybe not yet, but maybe at a track like Argentina that is probably still being built. If you want to check back the Motorsport Radio Facebook page, they are there, the construction photos, which worry me slightly. This isn't scheduled to be spoke about, but we will because we missed it last week. The Argentina round of World Superbikes is the penultimate round of the season in October. And I've got to say, the track is looking a little bit underbuilt. Undernourished.
Well, you've got to remember, I mean, you don't know when those particular photos that were put online were taken. They might have been taken earlier in the year.
Yeah, that's very true. The worrying things about them photos were, though, that if they were...
there was no track there.
No pit lane, no grandstand, no gravel runoffs, no access road. There was no road.
Yeah, it's literally like someone had just been going around in a dirt and track.
Obviously, the local council are still funding that, but it's sceptical. Reminds me of a track in Romania, actually. That looks a bit underperformed. Danny Buchan was out. Danny did Leicester's literally on mute button now. Danny Buchan was out testing there ages and ages ago, and I've never seen the circuit such like this one in Romania until I saw the Argentine one. The front straight's enormous.
Makes you wonder if maybe Northern Ireland can get a track together. before anywhere else in the world.
Dodgy territory there, boy. Dodgy territory.
Well, they're proposing it, I think.
They have proposed it, but according to some of my in the know people out there in Northern Ireland, aka some friends who are speculating, that circuit, the building site's closed.
Yeah, well, can't get over the border, can they? Not with all this Brexit going around. Anyway, moving on. Are we
just the transfer window discussion?
Oh,
quickly. Spoke to Keith Ewan earlier today.
Name dropper.
Got his expert opinion on things. Must say, I agree with him a little bit. I've got to say.
Well, what did he say?
Not often me and Keith disagree really on anything, but his opposing views are always good. Keith Ewan said he's in favour of a free market in general. So obviously that means that maybe there's no need for a transfer window. But he also said that, and this is a brilliant quote, I must say, we'll have to use it more, that the current change of riders from 2019 and 20 has been a drip feed of excitement. And I don't think we can argue with that, Leicester. I really don't think we can argue with that. They have been very, very exciting. For the anorak, die-in-the-wall hard fan that has been myself, it's just been exciting. It really has been exciting, captivating. Who's going to go where, and big names for once. Massive names.
You're like a gossip whore, though. You just love all the gossip.
Shocking.
Anyone who listens to this show is like, oh well, half the pit lane could be going over to MotoGP this weekend, and I've heard that there's a manager talking about someone maybe getting a ride. Now, whether we don't know whether this is half of BSB, we'll let you know. He's basically Kiko's.
All I'm saying is we need to move on, and time for Leicester to tell you the winners of the World Superbike races here. Top 3, Leicester race 1, please.
Yes, that will be forthcoming after I've done my usual go onto the website and just see who did something.
Shocking.
Oh, shut up. I didn't even know you was going to ask that, to be honest. Right, so you were going to research how badly I did in last week's predictions, because I don't think I got anything right. Apart from Marquez, of course, I did say that he'd something would happen to him, and it did, and yada yada. And then I sent Kiko a text, ha ha ha. But yeah.
I'm looking.
He's checking. All right, so World Superbikes this weekend. As Kiko frantically...
Oh, sorry, I'll just mute.
He's muted himself. That's nice, isn't it? It's nice of him. So, yeah. I'm going to probably say... I'm not going to give you a podium, but just the winners. They will be this weekend. I don't have my big beard anymore, so I can't. I would say probably. I mean, I'm thinking either Ray or Van der Mark, but I actually think maybe Ray and Sykes. They'll probably get a win each. I think Ray and Sykes. My predictions.
Okay, second and third in each race.
I said I'm not going to give you the podium. Just going to give you the winner.
Don't give me that cobblers. You crack on, boy.
No. You give us your
read out your predictions
thing.
Last weekend. Moto3, you said Bezzecchi, second. Bagnaia for the win. He was fourth, and Marquez was 16th. So ignore him.
Wow.
Listen to me. Johnny Ray double. Van der Mark second in one race. Tom Sykes second in the other.
Oh, copy me.
And in third, I fancy a bit of Leon Camia in one.
Yeah, but what
and Chaz Davies in the other.
Fair enough. Do you have any predictions? Are you tuned in right now? Still, yeah. Then you've obviously got nothing better to do, have you?
Obviously, no one's a fan of the pledge. No one likes question time, and obviously Sky News' press previews, letting them down tonight. So they're obviously.
Anyway,
we have got massive viewers. I must say, we have got quite a few on tonight.
Considering that, go on.
Great engagement as well. I must say, Colin Wright has been back on. Transfer window, load of tosh, he says. He doesn't want a... I don't think he wants a transfer window.
Finish whatever he wrote. Go on. Was it a load of shit or something?
I agree. LC is def capable of a podium. Leon Camia, obviously. See, Colin Wright agrees with sensible people only, and that's obviously myself.
It was you who proposed the transfer window, though.
Whoa. I only came up with the suggestion that we have to.
No, I didn't say we should. I just suggested.
I rung Lester up about this, or walk me around, and I says, I've got an idea for you, Lester.
And then I usually say, no, it's a bad idea.
What's that then, Kikowski? And I went, listen here, Lester, I reckon we should have a transfer window. And he goes, 5-second pause. Oh, I already thought that 6 years ago.
Yeah, and decided it was rubbish.
That was his idea. He decided it was rubbish. On the phone, yeah, brilliant idea. Brilliant.
It's good for the media only. It's good to build a spectacle. That's the only thing, the only reason why, like I said earlier.
Put your speed down.
The only reason why Sky Sports News make such a massive deal of the transfer deadline day is because it works fantastically well for them, and we all love watching it. Let's be honest. Come on. You
love watching it, Lester.
It's a bit of drama, isn't it? You know.
Is it?
Well, yeah, everyone loves a bit of drama. I'm sure they do. Any other?
Colin Wright's predictions.
Oh yeah.
Tom Sykes will not make the podium this weekend. He doesn't agree with all sensible people like myself, then, or you, for a matter. In fact, Colin Wright, we're going to wrap the show up in a couple of minutes.
What we should do is have like a predictions, not just like a league of knowledge, but just like have a predictions league. Or maybe
what do we win at the end of the season, though?
Nothing. You might win a motorsport award, like most predicted or something, or whatever. I don't know. Whatever. We don't get any money anyway, so.
Poverty stricken.
Yeah.
I think those little kids in Monrovia in Liberia are bad. You haven't seen Note yet.
Anyway, so are we? I think we're all pretty much done. To be honest, that's kind of almost wrapped up everything. We previewed everything. We've talked about everything. We've had Colin on for a good chunk of time, and that was a fantastic interview as well. And we've got to thank Colin for coming on as well, because he certainly didn't have to. So thank you very much, and also thank you to you as well for sticking with us. Don't know why you do, to be honest. Don't know why, but thank you.
And don't forget, of course, this show does not stop here.
It doesn't.
Let us know your comments. There will be more and more. Sorry, put my phone down. So you just wondered what the earthquake was. My phone is always in the way somewhere, I've got to say. But no, show goes on as ever. You can let us know your comments after this show ends. You can join the conversation on all of our social media posts. Looking to get some more interaction on Twitter. Make sure you follow us, like, retweet, all the stuff. Loads of things on the website at the moment. There's a weekly feature every Wednesday. One of our writers, it was myself this week, telling you where should you go, what bucket list event should you put on your calendar of races to attend. And I think that the first one was the Italian Grand Prix. It's the most recent one of the ones we have. Probably be talking about the Indy 500, the Northwest 200. And of course, if you want to watch young talent come through, Cool Fab. It's free.
Yeah, Cool Fab Racing, British Mini Bikes Championship, and is the place to actually see and hear the next generation and the current young BSB stars all race in things like mini motos, pit bikes, mini F1 sidecars as well, and lots more as well. We will have live streaming of the next round from Rowra, Cumbria. I hope, anyway, because the internet signal's never great.
Fish and chips time for us, though, up there, isn't it?
Kiko's got his eye on a fish and chip place that he went to.
Fraser's Fish and Chips in Egmonot. Get yourselves there, I tell you. Bang on it is.
But we can't do that because he's on a diet.
Fish chips and a drink for myself.
He's still got the photo from the last... He literally took a photo of the...
I will put it on the show next week.
No, I don't. No.
Yes, we will.
And so, yeah, Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bikes Championship. Again, we always end up talking about Kiko eating food for some reason. But yeah, Cool Fab Racing has lots of fantastic action going on. Check out the TDI Media YouTube channel where you can literally go back and watch, or of course you can have them streamed right here on motorsport.radio or on the Cool Fab Racing Facebook page or on the Cool Fab Racing website as well. Jay King, regular listener to the show, already knows all this as well. So thank you as well to regular listeners who's tuned in. Just a quick reminder, as Kiko mentioned as well, if you're not already liking or following the Facebook page, please do so. It's Motorsport Radio. Same on Twitter as well. It's at MSport Radio, and Kiko will be intermittently, I'm sure, given his other commentating duties, tweeting live on things like BSB, MotoGP, and anything else that's interesting. If there's another... Go on.
Must also say a huge hello to the Portuguese viewers. We kind of went a bit big over on the old, Spain's neighbour. Basically European Israel, because of the shape of it. But
hello anyway.
Hello to Portugal.
Yes.
I don't know, why did we go so big?
Because there was a thing about the Portuguese rider who...
but we didn't tag him or anything. It was just a poster we put out. And
yeah. I guess he was sort of trending, and our thing happened to be at the top of the thing, and we got if you're new to the Superbike show, and you're not English, then hello and welcome.
If you're not English, so he says hello and welcome.
Well, I don't know. There's like loads of languages, isn't there? You know what I mean? But
isn't they? Bloody hell! Sorry, Barnsley phoned. Can they have their voice back? Good heavens above. On that note, time to end the Superbike show. Thanks for watching. We will catch you next week. Stay in touch with the content online. It's all going to be very, very fun. So bye for now.
Motorsport Radio. The Superbike Show on Motorsport Radio.